Once again, and welcome on PACIS TV. This is the time for English weekly news. My name is Benjamin Kwizera, and these are the headlines. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, arrived in Lomé, the capital city of Togo, on Monday the 15th of June to take part in the very first African Aviation Summit. In Kigali, President Paul Kagame received the Secretary General of the East African Community, Ambassador Stephen Patrick Mbundi, at Village Rugwiro in Kigali. In Cyangugu, after 5 years of Father RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU's death, Americans who knew him remember his love for Jesus and commitment to reconciliation. In international news, the U.S. President Donald Trump has assured a strong warning to Iran, declaring that Tehran must never acquire a nuclear weapon and warning of severe consequences if it attempts to do so. Welcome to the news in details. News brought to you in partnership with the Credo Hotel, located in the Huye district, southern province of Rwanda. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, arrived in Lomé, the capital city of Togo, on Monday the 15th of June. President Paul Kagame also had a privilege to attend the meeting of a very first African Aviation Summit and Exhibition. News in detail. President Paul Kagame arrived in Lomé, the capital city of Togo, on the 15th of June to take part in a very first African Aviation Summit and Exhibition. Upon arrival, the Rwandan head of state was welcomed by his Togolese counterpart, RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU Nyasimbe. Held from 15th until 19th of June, the event serves as a continental platform aimed to accelerating the growth, modernization, and integration of Africa's air transport sector. The gathering brings together policymakers, regulators, airlines, airport operators, investors, and specialists in aircraft maintenance, training, logistics, and air navigation services. Ground handling companies, cargo operators, development partners, aerospace manufacturers, and aviation innovators are also taking part in the discussions. The summit is aligned with the Single African Air Transport Market known as SAATM and the African Union's Agenda 2063. Its goal is to foster strategic dialogue among stakeholders, showcase sector innovations, and encourage the investment needed to close infrastructure gaps in African aviation. Participants will also explore ways to build a more resilient, sustainable, and competitive African aviation ecosystem, one capable of supporting economic integration and trade between African countries. President Paul Kagame's participation reflects Rwanda's commitment to advancing air transport as a driver of economic growth, regional connectivity, and continental integration. His Excellency President Paul Kagame received the Secretary General of East African Community, Ambassador Stephen Patrick Mbundi, at Village Rugwiro in Kigali. News in detail. Rwandan President Paul Kagame received the Secretary General of East African Community EAC, Ambassador Stephen Patrick Mbundi, at Village Rugwiro in Kigali. The meeting forms part of ongoing efforts to strengthen relations between Rwanda and regional bloc, of which the country has been member for the past 19 years. According to information released by Village Rugwiro, the discussions focused on Rwanda's continued commitment to regional cooperation and the advancement of integration among East African Community member states. The two leaders also reviewed initiatives aimed at deepening collaboration in several strategic areas, including economic development, security, infrastructure, and the free movement of people and goods across the region. Ambassador Stephen Patrick Mbundi was appointed Secretary of the East African Community during Organization 25th Summit of Head of State held in March 2026. He succeeds Veronica Nduva and will serve a 5-year term through 2031. As the new head of regional bloc, Ambassador Mbundi is expected to lead key initiatives aimed at strengthening diplomatic cooperation among member states and accelerating the East African integration agenda. Prior to his appointment, he served as Permanent Secretary of East African Community Affairs in Tanzania's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The East African community currently comprises 8 member states: Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, South Sudan, and Somalia. Rwanda continues to play an active role within the regional organization, working closely with the fellow member states across a range of sectors critical to economic growth, regional stability, and sustainable development. The meeting reaffirmed the shared commitment of Rwanda and East African community to advancing regional unity, strengthening partnerships, and promoting prosperity for the people of East Africa. In Cyangugu, 5 years after Father RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU's death, Americans who knew him came and remember his love and his love for Jesus and commitment for unity and reconciliation of all Rwandans and all the people across the world. News in detail.
I did. So when Father Ubald, I was healed by Jesus in Chicago. When Father Ubald came, through Father Ubald's prayers, Jesus healed me. And so that's how I met Father Ubald. So I said, I must know this wonderful holy man and invite him. So when he would come to America, to Chicago, he would stay with me and I would take care of him, and we would make mass with healing prayers all over Chicago, California, New York. I would take him everywhere. He's so difficult to describe because he was joy. He really had the joy of Jesus in his whole body, in his heart, in his mind. Everything was about Jesus. Jesus was his best friend, and he really taught us about forgiveness and reconciliation. Even in America, we don't know how to forgive. It's very difficult. And so Father Ubald really brought that message of forgiveness and reconciliation to us and really taught us by his example, because he lived it, but taught us how to forgive. He loved the center. He would show me photographs and videos and show me the plans and his vision. And I was supposed to come with him, and I couldn't come. But now I'm here, and I'm seeing why he loved it so much, because he really did love the Center for Peace. And I see now why he loved it so much. It's beautiful. I feel like we are on holy ground. I feel like it's such a sacred space. I feel the love of God here.
I actually, maybe I can share this. Last year I was in Uganda and I was ministering to refugees, Rwandan refugees there, and I didn't know. I didn't know that they were from Rwanda. But I gave a retreat and prayed over people and encouraged them in the gospel. And then here I am now in Rwanda, and I see the hand of God on the progression of things, you know. Yeah, I believe that Father Ubald's ministry is for both, because all of us have been hurt and all of us have hurt others, and I believe the message of forgiveness, especially at the most basic level, is learning to forgive ourselves, because when you can't love someone else unless you can love yourself. And when I'm very cruel to someone else, it's a sign that I'm actually cruel to myself. Scripture says there is no man meaner than the man who is mean to himself. It says that in the book of Sirach. So I believe that this becoming a person of peace. Saint Seraphim said, when you become a person of peace, thousands around you will just convert. That's amazing. So when we reconcile with ourselves and we allow God to love us, then we can love others. And I believe that Father Ubald is going to help us in his mission, you know, now that he's passed and he's in perfect communion with God. Because I very much believe he's in heaven, you know. I'm sure everyone does. But is that mission, that we become a person of peace. You become a person of peace who lets God love you because you love yourself. Let him love you. And then in that intimacy with you that you have with the Father, you can then love others. And that love is powerful.
Rwandans are urged to have a heart of asking for and giving forgiveness in order to promote unity and reconciliation. After the dark history of the country, especially 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, Rwandans are really encouraged to be able to forgive for others, especially genocide perpetrators, to genocide survivors, in order to promote a true unity and reconciliation of the country in order to build the bright future. News in detail.
Yeah, I believe that Father Ubald's ministry is for both, because all of us have been hurt and all of us have hurt others, and I believe he's going. The message of forgiveness, especially at the most basic level, is learning to forgive ourselves, because when you can't love someone else unless you can love yourself. And when I'm very cruel to someone else, it's a sign that I'm actually cruel to myself. Scripture says there is no man meaner than the man who is mean to himself. It says that in the book of Sirach. So I believe that this becoming a person of peace. Saint Seraphim said, when you become a person of peace, thousands around you will just convert. That's amazing. So when we reconcile with ourselves and we allow God to love us, then we can love others. And I believe that Father Ubald is going to help us in his mission, now that he's passed and he's in perfect communion with God, because I very much believe he's in heaven, I'm sure everyone does. But is that mission, that we become a person of peace. You become a person of peace who lets God love you because you love yourself. Let him love you. And then in that intimacy with you that you have with the Father, you can then love others, and that love is powerful. My wish for the Rwandan people, I have to tell you, someone had hurt me very deeply, and it wasn't at the level of what you experienced here in the 90s. It wasn't that, obviously, but it was a very deep pain I had, and I heard the testimony of Father Ubald forgiving, and even caring for the children of the perpetrator, yeah? And that gave me the courage to forgive. I thought, wow, if he can forgive, I can forgive, So my desire for the Rwandan people is for you to choose forgiveness. If someone has hurt you or your family, choose to forgive because Jesus forgives you. Not because they deserve it. They don't deserve it. But Jesus forgives you, forgive. You also can forgive. And then for those who hurt others, beautiful thing you will ever see in your life, especially when it's undeserved. If you've hurt someone else, forgive yourself, reconcile with the Father, with God in heaven, and then try to reconcile with the person that you hurt. Because the message you're bringing to the rest of the world is unbelievable. It reveals the splendor of God.
Rwanda has made a significant progress in the treatment of the heart disease, reducing the need to spend a lot of money going to abroad for specialized care and seeking medical care. Now, Rwanda is capable of treating the heart diseases for all Rwandans, and people from different areas across the world can come to Rwanda to search for medical treatment. News in detail.
The Ministry of Health has announced that Rwanda has successfully treated more than 1,100 heart disease patients over the past 4 years, following major investments in specialized medical training. According to the ministry, heart disease was previously the second leading reason for referring patients abroad for treatment. However, the country has made remarkable advances in cardiac care, allowing more patients to receive life-saving treatment within Rwanda. Speaking to Rwanda Broadcasting Agency State Minister for Health, Dr. Ivan Butera, said the progress reflects Rwanda's commitment to strengthening its healthcare system and improving access to specialized services. 4 years ago, heart disease was the second most common reason for sending patients abroad. Since the launch of this program, more than 1,100 patients have been treated here in Rwanda, said Dr. Butera. To build local expertise, Rwanda has been sending doctors to Israel for advanced training in cardiac surgery. Some specialists are still undergoing training with the goal of expanding treatment capacity for patients in Rwanda and across the region. Health officials say treating heart disease requires highly skilled multidisciplinary teams, including cardiologists, surgeons, anesthesiologists, intensive care specialists, and other medical professionals. Rwanda has steadily built this capacity through international partnerships and local training programs. The ministry also reports growing numbers of patients from neighboring countries and beyond who are traveling to Rwanda for medical care, highlighting the country's emerging role as a destination for specialized health care. Rwanda's broader healthcare expansion has also contributed to these achievements. The country now has more than 520 health centers, 57 hospitals, and over 1,280 primary healthcare clinics nationwide. The government has launched the Ambitions program aimed at quadrupling the number of doctors by 2028. Under the initiative, 4 doctors will be available for every 1,000 citizens. The program is expected to receive investments exceeding $395 million. Health officials say these developments are helping Rwanda move closer to its vision of becoming a leader center for healthcare and medical excellence in the region.
The Karongi district has reached a major milestone in improving access to clean drinking water. The Rwanda Water Sanitation and Hygiene Corporation (WASAC) has announced the completion of construction work on the water treatment plant in the Karongi district. The Karongi district has reached a major milestone in improving access to clean drinking water. The Rwanda Water Sanitation and Hygiene Corporation (WASAC) has announced the completion of construction work on the water treatment plant for Kivu Belt Water Supply System project. The facility was commissioned at the beginning of April 2026 and is already supplying several localities in the district. Construction began in July 2023. Completion was delayed about a year due to supply chain disruptions linked to tensions in the Middle East, as well as compensation procedures for residents affected by the project. According to Robert Bimenyimana, WASAC's communications officer, the first results are already visible in the sectors of Bwishyura and Rubengera, where residents had long faced water rationing. Before this plant came online, many residents still relied on water drawn from Musogoro, Muregea rivers and other water sources that were often exposed to various forms of contamination. Authorities are now urging the public to prioritize using treated piped water in order to prevent illness linked to poor sanitation and consumption of untreated water. The plant treats water from Musogoro River before it is sent to 10 reservoir and 105 public water kiosks. The water is then distributed through a network of pipes spanning 124 kilometers, supplying a large number of households. The first phase of the project required an investment of more than 13 billion Rwandan francs. Authorities say a second phase is already planned and it is expected to launch around 2035 to further expand access to drinking water in the region. This achievement marks a major step forward for Karongi's development and for improving living conditions for its residents. After a short commercial break, we are coming back with the international news.
I wish I could leave my skin behind.
Icy'ingenzi ntabwo ari ukugira diplome ya kaminuza. Uyu munsi birahagije kuganira n'umuntu byonyine ukamenya ko yize muri kaminuza ibonetse yose cyangwa se ko yize muri kaminuza Gatolika y'u Rwanda, Catholic University of Rwanda, by'umwihariko mu ishami ryayo rya Kigali. Ubu abazi guhitamo neza batangiye kwiyandikisha muri Catholic University of Rwanda Kigali campus ikorera Nyamirambo. Abashaka kwiga mu mashami y'uburezi kwiyandikisha mu gihembwe kizatangira mu kwezi kwa gatatu, March intake, byaratangiye muri postgraduate diploma in education PGDE. Ababiga muri weekend. Hatangwa kandi amasomo muri Department of Education in Sciences mu mashami ya Economics and Computer Science, Mathematics and Computer Science, Mathematics and Geography na Mathematics and Economics. Hari kandi Department of Education in Arts and Social Sciences mu mashami ya English and Kinyarwanda, English and French, French and Kinyarwanda, English and Kiswahili, Economics and Entrepreneurship, English and History, Economics and History na Economics and Geography. Uhitamo kwiga ku manywa cyangwa se mu biruhuko. Twakira kandi abanyeshuri bafite A1 muri education bakeneye gukomeza amasomo yabo ku rwego rwa A0. Iyandikisha unyuze kuri wa@cur.ac.rw. Wanahamagara cyangwa ukandika ubutumwa kuri 07 83 18 86 26 cyangwa 07 33 21 46 cyangwa nanone 07 88 52 41 98. Wanandika email kuri curkigali-campus@gmail.com.
The only way to being found is getting lost.
yemwe ya shuri bose bashaka ni College Fondation Sina Gerard.
Mama we,
Iri ni ishuri ribumbatiye icyerekezo cy'u Rwanda twifuza kuko ritanga uburezi buhamye mu mashuri y'inshuke, abanza, icyiciro rusange ndetse n'amashami y'imyuga n'ubumenyingiro mu buhinzi, ubworozi, food processing, ubwubatsi, ubukanishi bw'ibinyabiziga, fashion design, gutunganya imisatsi, ububaji n'ubusuderi. Hari n'amasomo y'igihe gito short courses mu mashami yavuzwe haruguru aherekezwa na practice zihagije kuko abanyeshuri bigira mu nganda za Sina Gerard. Sina Gerard International Football Academy yigisha abana guhera ku myaka 6 gucunga ruhago sawa sawa, atletisme, imbyino nyarwanda no kwiga amategeko y'umuhanda no gutwara ibinyabiziga nabyo biri mu nyongera y'amasomo. Abana biga amashuri y'incuke n'abanza basoza ibyo byiciro bose bazi gutwara igare. Umwana wa segonderi we atahana uruhusa rwo gutwara ibinyabiziga. Witinda kwandikisha umwana ku ishuri kuri Nyirangarama cyangwa ku mashami ya Sina Gerard Entreprise Urwibutso hose mu gihugu. Ku bindi bisobanuro hamagara 0788555123 cyangwa 0788355999.
College Fondation Sina Gerard.
Twubaka ubukungu bushingiye ku bumenyi.
Rero ugiye kutubwira impamvu zatumye uhitamo kuza gusaba akazi hano. Bwa mbere nza gusaba akazi hano nari nabitekerejeho, mbabarire. Murakoze. Mu by'ukuri numvaga mfite ubushobozi ndetse n'ubushake.
So kutiteguye bihagije ni ukutaryama neza. Rwanda Farm, le paradis du matelas.
Umubyeyi nyina wa Jambo yaratugendereye ikibeho n'umugisha w'ijuru.
yabonekeye abakobwa 3, Alphonsine Mumureke,
Natalia Mukamazimaka na Marie Clara Mukangango.
Abaho ubutumwa bugenewe isi yose.
turahirwa kubona umubyeyi w'ijuru, nyina wa Jambo no kwiyumvira icyo yavuze.
Imyaka 25 irashize hatangajwe ku mugaragaro icyemezo cy'umushumba wa Diocese ya Gikongoro gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'ikibeho.
Hari ku itariki ya 29 Kamena mu mwaka w'2001.
Murararitswe ikibeho ku nguru ya Bikira Mariya ku wa mbere tariki ya 29 Kamena umwaka wa 2026 mu munsi mukuru w'isabukuru y'imyaka 25 yitangazwa ry'icyemezo cya Kiliziya gikemura burundu iby'amabonekerwa y'ikibeho.
Umunsi mukuru uzabanzizwa n'igitaramo cy'abaririmbyi kizabimburirwa n'igitambo cya misa ku cyumweru tariki ya 28 z'ukwezi kwa gatandatu umwaka wa 2026 guhera saa 10.
Nimuze dutaramire nyina wa Jambo, dusangire ibyishimo by'icyemezo cya Kiliziya ko nyina wa Jambo yaje iwacu ikibeho. Azarababwira ati musenge mwiruke, azarababwira ati nyina wa Jambo.
Banyarwanda, rya shuri rikuru ry'abafurere b'abayozefite rikomeje kuba ubukombe mu gushyira ku isoko ry'umurimo abize ubumenyingiro bufite ireme.
Iryo nta rindi ni St Joseph Integrated Technical College ryongeye gufungura amarembo ku bashaka kuryigamo.
Banyeshuri, amahitamo ni ayandi. Kugeza abanyeshuri bari kwiyandikisha muri Bachelor of Technology, muri Information Technology cyangwa Construction Technology.
Kwiyandikisha byaratangiye kandi bigeze kuri. Dore ko amasomo azatangira ku ya 29 Kamena muri uyu mwaka.
uwiyandikisha yitwaza inyemezabwishyu y'amafaranga 44,000 by'amafaranga y'u Rwanda, fotokopi y'indangamuntu, diplome iriho umukono wa noteri na transcript z'imyaka 3 ku baje kwiga muri BTEC.
Saint Joseph Integrated Technical College iherereye i Nyamirambo mu mujyi wa Kigali imbere y'urukiko rw'ubucuruzi. Ku bindi bisobanuro wahamagara nimero iri kuri ekara yawe. Saint Joseph Integrated Technical College, igisubizo mu bwubatsi n'ikoranabuhanga birambye.
Bakerarugendo namwe bashyitsi mugenda mu karere ka Muhanga no mu tundi turere two mu ntara y'Amajyepfo n'intara y'Iburengerazuba, namwe mwese mukeneye serivisi za hoteli, ni muze nimugera mu mujyi wa Muhanga mukomeze gato. Nimugera i Kabgayi murahasanga hoteli yiteguye kubakirana urugwiro. Iyo nta yindi ni Hotel Saint Andre Kabgayi. Hotel Saint Andre Kabgayi tugufitiye serivisi zitandukanye za bar na restaurant kandi zitanga nk'ubuhanga n'icyubahiro ku mukiriya utugana. Tubafitiye kandi imikino itandukanye ifasha abatugana kuruhuka nka piscine wogeramo ukaruhuka mu mutwe, imyicungo igezweho abana bidagaduriramo bagataha banezerewe, tennis na table game bakunze kwita biyari, igisoro ndetse na volley yo ku mucanga bakunze kwita beach volley mukunda muri benshi nayo nitwayibagiwe. Ikindi nuko muri Hotel Saint Andre Kabgayi twakira inama zitandukanye kuko tubafitiye ibyumba byiza by'inama utasanga ahandi, byaba bito ndetse n'ibishobora kwakira abantu benshi, ariko by'akarusho tukaba tubafasha no gukora inama mukoresheje ikoranabuhanga mu gihe mutari kumwe mu cyumba. Kubifuza serivisi za catering, Hotel Saint Andre Kabgayi amafunguro n'ibinyobwa tubibagerezaho ku gihe. Tubafitiye ibyumba byiza byagutse biri mu byiciro bitandukanye, harimo n'ibyo bakunze kwita suite mu ndimi z'amahanga, ndetse byose ukaba ubibona ku giciro cyiza. Muri make ugeze muri Hotel Saint Andre Kabgayi ahora yifuza kugaruka kubera uburyo yakirana ubwuzu n'icyubahiro utasanga ahandi, kuko serivisi tuzitanga kinyamwuga kandi zishingiye ku ndangagaciro za kizizi. Ku bindi bisobanuro waduhamagara kuri telefone ziri kuri ekara yawe cyangwa ukatwandikira unyuze ku mbuga nkoranyambaga zacu zitandukanye. Hotel Saint Andre Kabgayi, imfura mu mahoteli mu gutanga serivisi nziza inoze kandi ku gihe.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on dedicated channels, live on SuperSport.
Available with DSTV English Plus. Subscribe now to your package and enjoy all channels for 30 days. Get a Canal Plus HD decoder for only 5,000 francs.
Welcome to the international news. US President Donald Trump has issued a strong warning to Iran, declaring that Tehran must never acquire a nuclear weapon and warning of severe consequences if it tries to do so. News in detail. The US President Donald Trump has issued a strong warning to Iran, declaring that Tehran must never acquire a nuclear weapon and warning of severe consequences if it attempts to do so. Speaking on the sidelines of G7 summit in France, Donald Trump defended a newly negotiated memorandum of understanding between United States of America and Iran, describing it as a framework aimed at preventing further conflict and ensuring that Iran's nuclear ambition remain under control. According to Donald Trump, the agreement makes it clear that Iran will not be permitted to develop a nuclear weapon. The US president stressed that the current agreement is only a preliminary framework and not a final treaty. However, he warned that if Iran fails to comply with its commitment, military action could resume. Donald Trump told the reporters that the United States would not hesitate to respond if Tehran violated the terms of agreement. While world leaders welcome the signs of diplomatic progress, questions remain over how agreements will be implemented and whether both sides can overcome long-standing disagreements. For now, President Donald Trump's message from G7 summit was clear. Iran must not obtain nuclear weapon, and the United States stands ready to enforce the red line. Benjamin Kwizera, PACIS TV. And that story brings us to the end of our news edition. But before we close, let's go back to the top stories. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, arrived in Lome, the capital city of Togo, on Monday, the 15th of June, to take part in the very first African Aviation Summit and Exhibition. His Excellency Paul Kagame received the Secretary General of East African Community, Ambassador Stephen Patrick Mbondi, at Village Urugwiro in Kigali. 5 years after Father Ubaldi RW'IGITANGAZAMAKURU's death, Americans who knew him remember his love for Jesus and commitment to reconciliation. In international news, the U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a strong warning to Iran, declaring that Tehran must never acquire a nuclear weapon and warning of severe consequences if it attempts to do so. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. This is PACIS TV Weekly English News. My name is Benjamin Kwizera, and I wish you a fantastic weekend.